Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
For this long, if you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
Right.
It's like peeling back layers of a rotten onion. The deeper you go, the worse it gets. The entertainment industry, cloaked in its glitz and glamour, has always hinted at shadows lurking behind the spotlight, but the revelations surrounding Sean Diddy Combs and his alleged exploits take those whispers to a deafening roar. This isn't just tabloid fodder about celebrity feuds or extravagant spending. This is a descent into a world so disturbing, so riddled with secrets that even the most cynical observers are left shaking their heads. The enigmatic figure of Alli Carter, a woman whose courage to speak out has turned her into both a beacon and a target.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Alli's story, explosive and unrelenting, has gripped the public like a vice. She didn't just crack open the door to the industry's dark underbelly. She kicked it down. Her allegations against Diddy are not just accusations. They're exposes of an entire system of control and exploitation. From the moment she began talking, the dominoes started falling. She claimed to have witnessed unspeakable acts at exclusive parties, revealing details that are almost too grotesque to comprehend. These weren't just wild nights fueled by indulgence. They were orchestrated events designed to strip people of their autonomy and dignity. An ally with her insider's view didn't just see it, she lived it. What makes her claims even more chilling is the pattern of retaliation that seems to follow her every move. Shortly after her initial revelations went viral, Alli's home was reportedly breached by armed figures, leaving her living in fear and forced into hiding. But this wasn't just about silencing her. It was a message, loud and clear, to anyone else who might dare to speak out. The timing was no coincidence either. Just as Diddy found himself embroiled in a legal maelstrom, Alli vanished from the public eye. Her disappearance, shrouded in mystery, has only fueled speculation about how far the industry will go to protect its secrets.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
And then there's the trial itself, a high-stakes battle that has already turned into a spectacle. With Cassie stepping into the spotlight as the star witness, the courtroom has become ground zero for years of rumors and whispers. But Katt Williams, never one to shy away from controversy, has thrown another name into the mix, Alli Carter. He's demanding that the authorities find her, claiming she holds the key to unraveling the entire web of deception. The fact that Alli is missing isn't just a coincidence. He insists it's a calculated move to keep her from testifying. But let's rewind for a moment. Alli Carter didn't just stumble into the storm. She's been talking for years, her voice growing louder and more defiant with each revelation. What sets her apart is her willingness to name names, to pull back the curtain on the figures who've long enjoyed their untouchable status. It's not just Diddy in her crosshairs. She's taken aim at a roster of high-profile celebrities, each accusation more damning than the last. Take her claims about Akon, for instance. Her detailed account of a party gone horrifyingly wrong was so specific, so visceral, that it left even the most jaded observers stunned. And in a move that defies the usual script of victim blaming, Alli didn't just point fingers outward. She implicated herself, admitting she made choices she now regrets deeply. That level of candor is rare, and it's part of what makes her story so compelling and so dangerous.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
And yet, the allegations against Diddy are in a league of their own. Alli's descriptions of his so-called freak-offs are enough to make your stomach churn. These weren't just decadent gatherings. They were extra-decadent gatherings. They were exercises in domination, designed to degrade and dehumanize. The details are almost too graphic to repeat, but they paint a picture of a man who wielded his power not just to control, but to humiliate. And it wasn't just adults who suffered. Alli's claims suggest a level of depravity that deviates belief. She described scenes that sound more like the plot of a horror movie than real life, with rituals and acts so grotesque that they're hard to even imagine. But Alli insists she doesn't just imagine them, she saw them. And while Diddy's legal team continues to deny everything, the walls seem to be closing in. The sheer number of allegations, each one more disturbing than the last, has turned his once untouchable empire into a house of cards. But what makes this case so unique, so utterly chilling, is the way it seems to implicate not just one man, but an entire system. It's not just about what Diddy allegedly did, it's about what those around him allowed to happen. The silence of his peers, the complicity of those who looked the other way, the machinery of an industry designed to protect its own. All of it is under scrutiny.
A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal
trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
And then there's the question of Shakur. Alli's claim that he was her biological father adds yet another layer of intrigue to an already tangled web. She even went so far as to allege that Shakur is still alive, living in hiding while his family ignores her attempts to reach out. It's the kind of claim that would normally be dismissed as the stuff of conspiracy theories. But in the context of everything else, it's hard not to at least wonder if even a fraction of what Alli says is true, then the entertainment industry isn't just complicit, it's rotten to its core. What's most unsettling, though, is the way Alli's story seems to echo those of others who've tried to expose the truth. Take Jaguar Wright, for example. She's another whistleblower who's faced relentless pushback for daring to speak out. Her allegations against figures like Jay-Z and Beyonce have been met with everything from lawsuits to outright character assassination, but she's remained undeterred. And now, with Alli's disappearance, Jaguar has taken up the mantle, demanding answers and refusing to let the story fade away.
You know, there's a short life in
Why do you think that is, what the creative side is?
Well, because losing out money, you got to take. You're going through so much to try and deal with life.
But for every Jaguar Wright, there are dozens of others who've been silenced, their stories buried under layers of denial and deflection. The industry's playbook is well worn by now. Discredit the accuser, frame the allegations as baseless, and wait for the public to move on. But this time, it feels different. The sheer volume of allegations, the high-profile nature of the accused, and the courage of those like Alli who refuse to back down, it's created a perfect storm, one that might finally force a reckoning. Still, the question remains, where is Alli Carter? And what does her absence mean for the case against Diddy? It's a question that hangs heavy over the entire saga, casting a shadow over the entire saga, casting a shadow over everything that's come to light so far. Because if Alli's claims are true, then her silence is not just a loss. It's a warning that the industry's grip is tighter, its reach further than anyone dared to imagine. And as new allegations continue to surface, it's clear that we're only just beginning to scratch the surface of a much larger, much darker story.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying.
And if you thought the shadows couldn't grow any darker, just wait. Because what Alli Carter has hinted at isn't just a personal vendetta against scene Diddy comms or a few isolated incidents. It's the tip of an iceberg the size of a continent. This isn't just about one man or one trial. This is about an entire industry that seems built to protect itself at all costs, even if it means burying the truth alongside anyone brave enough to speak it. And the deeper you go into this labyrinth of accusations, the more questions emerge, not just about Diddy, but about the people standing beside him, watching it all happen and staying eerily silent.
That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone.
Let's start with the timing of it all. Alli's disappearance, her sudden silence, isn't just convenient, it's strategic. Days before Diddy's trial began, she vanished like smoke in the wind. Coincidence? Hardly. This is someone who had been vocal, almost defiant, about what she claimed to have seen. Someone who had gone live on social media to show the wreckage left behind after her home was invaded and ransacked. She even warned us, if she went missing, it wasn't by accident. And now, here we are, with no Alli, no answers, and a courtroom drama that feels like it's missing its star witness. But the stakes aren't just legal. They're personal, political, and deeply systemic. Diddy's trial has become a magnet for other stories, other victims, other whispers that are turning into a roar. It's not just Cassie's testimony or Katt Williams' demands for Alli's return. It's the ripple effect. Over 100 new allegations have surfaced since the lawsuit frenzy began, each one peeling back another layer of the industry's polished facade. And these aren't nameless, faceless claims. They're tied to dates, places, and people who've built empires on their reputations. The walls aren't just closing in on Diddy. They're starting to close in on the culture of complicity that allowed this all to fester in the first place.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me.
And speaking of complicity, where are the other power players in this mess? Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James, all names that have been dragged into the fray, whether through lawsuits or the testimonies of witnesses who claim they were there watching as the most grotesque abuses unfolded. And while their representatives deny everything, the fact remains, they were at these events. They saw things. So why aren't they talking? Why isn't anyone stepping forward to say, enough is enough? Is it fear, loyalty, or something even more sinister, like the knowledge that once one domino falls, the entire structure comes crashing down?
Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept.
Take, for example, the allegations about those infamous parties. What Alli has described doesn't just sound like debauchery, it sounds like something out of a dystopian nightmare. And yet, these gatherings were reportedly attended by some of the most influential names in entertainment. Joseph Manzaro's lawsuit, which details his own harrowing experience at one of these events, even places Jay-Z and Beyonce in the room. The imagery is chilling. A crowded party, a man in a grotesque mask, and a group of onlookers who do nothing but jeer and taunt. If even a fraction of this is true, it raises a terrifying question. What kind of environment makes this behavior not only possible, but acceptable?
Have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit because the man card means everything.
And then there's the legal machine grinding away in the background. The raids on Diddy's properties, the seized evidence, the mounting lawsuits. It all points to an investigation that's only getting bigger. But what's more disturbing is the pushback. Diddy's legal team has been relentless, filing motions to suppress evidence, accusing witnesses of fabricating stories, and painting the entire ordeal as a smear campaign. And while that's par for the course in high-profile cases, the sheer intensity of their efforts to discredit everyone involved feels like it's hiding something much bigger. What don't they want us to see? What's on those seized phones, those confiscated hard drives that they're so desperate to keep out of court?
Stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the Chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them.
And let's not forget the collateral damage. Justin Bieber, once a protege of Diddy, has reportedly been spiraling in the wake of these revelations. Friends say he's withdrawing, unfollowing Diddy on social media, and struggling to reconcile the man he thought he knew with the allegations now surrounding him. And Bieber isn't alone. The shockwaves from this trial are rattling through every corner of the entertainment world, leaving fans and insiders alike questioning how deep the rabbit hole really goes. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of all this is the silence. The silence of the industry, of the so-called gatekeepers who've built their careers on the backs of those they were supposed to protect. The silence of the authorities who were allegedly complicit in covering up these crimes. And the silence of Alli Carter, whose voice was one of the few cutting through the noise until it was silence altogether. Her warnings about underground tunnels, secret dealings, and a network of corruption that stretches further than anyone wants to admit. Were they paranoid ramblings, or were they the whistleblowers of someone who knew too much?
It was just an escape for me. I was just young, like everybody in the industry and people in the world who experiment and do.
But here's where it gets even murkier. Alli's allegations weren't just confined to the entertainment industry. She pointed fingers at organizations outside Hollywood, claiming that certain powerful institutions were fully aware of what was happening, and worse, might have played a role in suppressing evidence. Alli repeatedly mentioned that law enforcement agencies had ignored her pleas for help, even when she provided what she described as tangible proof, records, photos, locations. It's all out there, she insisted. Yet instead of investigating, she said, the authorities turned a blind eye. Why? Because according to Alli, the rabbit hole doesn't stop at the gates of the music industry. It tunnels into political circles, corporate powerhouses, and even the justice system itself.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, But what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
And then there's the chilling detail about the tunnels she claimed to have been trafficked through. Alli described them as sprawling networks beneath schools, cemeteries, and even amusement parks, hidden in plain sight. She said these tunnels were used to move people without anyone noticing, and they were allegedly connected to high-profile properties linked to some of the biggest names in entertainment. It sounds like something out of a dystopian novel, but the specificity of her claims has left people wondering, if this is all fiction, why did she know so much? And why did the people she accused seem more concerned with silencing her than proving her wrong?
To not be involved with a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those. This is what I heard. They're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties, he was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out. He does not want it to come out.
Even more unsettling are the cryptic warnings Alli left behind before she disappeared. She spoke about a series of planned accidents meant to distract the public from the truth. Fires, explosions, sudden tragedies. She claimed these events would be dismissed as unrelated, but they would all serve one purpose: to bury the lead. And now, with wildfires tearing through Los Angeles and whispers of connections to key locations in her story, some are starting to wonder if she was right all along. The timing is too suspicious. The coincidence is too glaring to ignore. Could these so-called accidents actually be part of a larger effort to erase the evidence she risked everything to expose?
Same thing for Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the interesting thing about the Epstein and the theory about Epstein is we know he filmed people for sure on that island. He has a lot of movies, a lot of films of people that are very, very powerful political figures, and entertainers, business people. So do you really believe that Jeffrey Epstein himself? And
of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Jaguar Wright, the other truth teller who's been ringing alarm bells for years. She said time and time again that the industry doesn't just silence people, it destroys them. Her own allegations against Jay-Z and others add yet another layer to this tangled web, suggesting that what we're seeing now is just the fallout from decades of unchecked power and privilege. Jaguar has even accused the industry of orchestrating tragedies, from untimely passings to career-ending scandals, all in the name of maintaining control. And while many have dismissed her as a conspiracy theorist, the parallels between her story and Alli's are impossible to ignore.
Did you ever spend time with the guy? Did you ever meet Diddy?
I've met him before, yeah.
How was he?
Very nice guy, very smart, super business. He's very successful.
So where does this leave us? With more questions than answers, as always. Where is Alli Carter? What's on those seized devices? Who else knew about these so-called parties? And why didn't they do anything to stop them? And perhaps most chillingly, how many more Allis are out there too scared to come forward, knowing what happens to those who do? This isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning. And as the trial moves forward, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The truth, whatever it is, isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. So buckle up, because this story is far from over. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are we finally seeing the cracks in the industry's armor, or is this just another cover-up in the making? We'll see you in the next one.